We completely changed our content strategy and it's actually working. When we first started doing founder interviews at Pier 5, the goal was simple. Highlight great founders. But the conversations were pretty broad. We talk about their story, their journey, how they got started. Then we noticed something. The interviews that actually performed well on social were the ones with an actual hook. The founders talked about their revenue, growth, their customers, something tangible. Because the reality is, we know this founder and think they're amazing and incredible, but our audience doesn't yet. And those topics of success validate the founders that we're interviewing, and our audience sees that. They are what make people stop the scroll, pay attention, and listen to the insights. But that was only part of it. The next changes are where it really clicked.
All right, guys, it is February, March 11th. We've had a busy day today. This morning, we shot a FreshBooks campaign, which you will probably see in this vlog. And we just finished shooting with a friend and successful entrepreneur, Julianne Costigan, who has built an incredible styling and personal brand building business over the last number of years. A lot of great insights from her. Really cool to get into the numbers of how the business is doing, where she is focusing her efforts. She had a lot of great things to talk about, building a team, handing off responsibilities to be able to grow together, and we're excited to share it. So make sure to keep it locked to Pier 5. Content's gonna be coming soon. Peace.
So here are the 3 changes that we made to improve our content strategy. The first one was posting more frequently. Instead of going from 1 post every other day, we're now posting twice a day, Monday to Friday. We realized that social media is a volume game. Not every post is going to hit, but the more swings that you take up at bat, the more chances you have of hitting a home run. The second change is that we shorten the videos. We realized we were trying to cram way too much content into one video. And this was making everything that we posted 1 minute to 2 minutes long. We're trying now to keep everything to 30 or 40 seconds. And with that means that we're getting straight to the point. If we're not trying to squeeze everything into one video, it also allows us to have more cut-ups, which means that we have more content to hit that 2 posts a day goal. And last but not least, the third change that we made is that we're being way more intentional and strategic with the questions that we ask in our content. Before, we were asking way too open-ended of questions, which meant that we were getting vague or broad responses, which were a lot more difficult to get people engaged. Now we're getting straight to the point. What's your revenue? What are your biggest struggles? We want the real answers that people really care about. And that means that engagement is going to get a lot higher. So with more volume, more intentional questions, and shorter content that makes it easy to digest, we know that this is a recipe that is going to help us get to the next level with our social media.
We're here at FreshBooks. This is the moment.
What's up, guys? We just wrapped up a shoot here at the FreshBooks office. We are filming some content with them for tax season.
If you're a business owner and you want to go from this to a cleaner system, make sure to check out our content. Shout out to FreshBooks for having us in the office. We spoke to Kat, one of their SVPs, about all the tips that new founders need to know dealing with taxes, because it is a brutal time.
Whoa.
Peace.
Thank you, FreshBooks.
See ya.
There's also another side to this. A lot of founders are understandably sensitive when it comes to sharing their numbers. Revenue can feel private. Some don't want their competitors to see the numbers, and others just aren't comfortable putting out their numbers to the public. And that's completely understandable. So now, before we film anything, we have that conversation up front. We ask what they're actually comfortable sharing and try to find a middle ground that is a tangible hook for their story. It could be revenue, number of customers, their locations, number of units sold, just anything that grounds their story in something real. And sometimes that conversation leads to another decision. We might decide not to do the interview. Not because we don't respect the founder or their business, but because we don't want to force fit something that we know is not going to work in this format, and that's completely okay. At the end of the day, it's always founders first. We'd rather build a real relationship and find the right way to tell their story, whether it's through events, panels, or something else down the line.
So in closing, the reason why these hooks and requiring these numbers in the conversation has done so much to improve our reach is that it creates curiosity, it validates the expertise of the founder right away, and allows us to add tangibility to the story that we're trying to tell. Instead of just broadly telling a founder's story, now we're telling the secrets to how they drove their success and developed revenue. Instead of just hearing about the challenges, we're actually getting deep into the real struggles, the causes, and the solutions so that new founders who are watching the content can take these tips and apply them to their own business. A lot of people talk about this concept of building in the open, but we are taking that to another level. We want to show every single piece because we know that transparency is the recipe to success for the content that we are trying to create.
What is up, guys? It is Friday, March 20th, and it is time for another 2-week sales updates. So what's going on over the last 2 weeks? Well, Pier 5 Studios just got selected to produce a major event for one of the world's biggest sportswear brands in Toronto next month. We have 3.5 weeks until this event, so it's going to be a bit of a grind, but we are super stoked for this. We also have some new conversations on the studio side with some beer brands and hospitality groups. So there's a lot of momentum there, and we're excited to see how that goes. I'm predicting around $50,000 potentially in opportunities there, which is not bad. On the SMB founder and community side, we're also talking to some really fun lifestyle brands about some new interactive workshops and event concepts there. And we are also speaking to some new tech and co-working space partners. So trying to get into different categories and see what we can make happen. All of this is probably going to be late spring, maybe summer, maybe Q3 opportunities, but lots of really good momentum there. We've added about 100K in potential deals to the pipeline in the last 2 weeks. We have also had about $40,000 in opportunities fall off. This was really just budget wasn't available that we thought was in the beginning. So maybe it gets pushed to 2027. Maybe it just doesn't happen, but that's okay. Part of the deal. Lots going on here. New deals in, new deals out as well, like always. And I think that we are getting closer and closer to where we want to be for the first half of the year, which is what I'm really looking towards right now. Our goal is 400K for ending the first half in deals closed. So we'll see what happens, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace.